the most recent Sony-verse film that hasn't come out yet, but we've got a new trailer for it, is Kraven the Hunter, and it's gonna save it. It's gonna save the whole thing. That's what everybody's wondering. Is it gonna turn around their what are they calling it? The Venom verse, the Morbius,
the super villain Marvels, right?
Yeah. So Sony has been doing this weird villain thing, and also Madam Web.
It's an excuse to have another rated R superhero movie, and because they think people want that, which they kind of want that, but none of it's dumb.
No.
Well, that's what we want to take a look at. Is after seeing the trailer, going through, let's just discuss: is this a potential winner for the Sony supervillain movies? Right? Because just listen to this real quick. So, Venom 1 got a 30% tomato meter rating. All right. Venom, Let There Be Carnage got 57. All right. Morbius got 15%, and then Madam Web got 11%.
Awesome.
So we have had nothing but stinkers this entire time. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, looking at the trailer, does this hold any promise for you guys? Are you looking at this and being like, there might be something here? Yes, it seems like Joshua said a excuse to do a rated R violent film. However, could it be actually cool? With Aaron Taylor Johnson and is there any hope for this?
I like Aaron. I like that character, and I like him. So I'm looking forward to it only because of that.
But are you actually looking forward to it? Like, are you actually excited about this movie in any shape, in any way? Right? Is there anything?
I mean, Russell Crowe.
Is Russell Crowe in this?
He is. You didn't see the trailer?
The new trailer has
completely
is Russell Crowe. He's like playing his dad or something, isn't he?
Yeah. He's playing like his some kind of mob boss dad, right? And I'm not a super big fan of the comics, so I couldn't tell you exactly the origin of Kraven the Hunter. There's also the element of, they pushed back the release date for this movie to December 13th, which means it's coming out not the same weekend, but rather the same day as Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim. So it's going to have a little bit of competition. It originally was going to be earlier, and then they kept pushing it back due to the strikes, right?
I'm not sure about Kraven. I don't think it's going to be a good movie. We haven't had anything that would make me confident that it would be a good movie. The director is basically, I haven't heard of any of his movies. And granted, I'm not huge into the indie film kind of market. So if there are indie films on there that are recognized and appreciated, I haven't seen them. So I couldn't tell you. But we've got one writer that worked on some stuff.
Yeah. Richard Wenk. I can't say his last name. Wenk. Richard, he did movies like the Equalizer 1, 2, and 3. He also has done Expendables 2. So he's action writer, right?
Action writer.
Which, I think
he's the main nothing wrong with that. Especially for an action movie. And then the other writer, as I think one of them, the other writers worked on like Iron Man, and then some like terrible action movies.
Like, some Transformers.
And
so it's kind of a wild card, you might say.
But they seem to be hinging their success on this film.
Well, I don't know, dude.
They have to be.
With this many failures that I've already listed, it's gone failure after failure after failure. Can this actually turn it around? It might be a good film. Are people actually going to watch it, or are people just going to be super critical because it's like, well, we haven't seen anything good come out of this Sony villain franchise at all. Literally from when they started, we haven't seen anything amazing, right?
Yeah. Nothing.
So the question there is, can it actually save this franchise, or is it going to be done after this one, or are they going to keep doing it?
They've got the other Venom movie.
They'll do it again. It just, it feels like a Venom movie. This feels Venom like them 3 trying to do a different version of Venom. Like, party's better. Well, maybe not.
I've heard Kraven is supposed to be like Ra's al Ghul for Spider-Man. He's kind of like the super intelligent, pulling strings type villain. He's scary because of his physical prowess and his single-mindedness, but he's also intelligent and crafty, and they I know that they did a Kraven the Hunter storyline in the most recent PlayStation Spider-Man game,
Right.
and that's his character in that too, is crafty. But I don't think this is going to have any of that. I can't see. I know there's the Rhino. They got the Rhino in it.
Yeah, there was a Rhino in the trailer, or at least the dude that is there's a moment like the Rhino flips a car up or something, right? So,
and I guess he's getting bit by like a radioactive lion or something, and gets lion powers. I mean, I have no idea.
On the surface, the trailer doesn't look bad. However, Madam Web's trailer didn't look awful. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful like the movie. In the same way that Morbius's trailer looked somewhat interesting, and the same way that Venom 1 looks somewhat interesting, and all these just got a horrible rating or a horrible box office. Obviously, we will see what happens, but my prediction is that this is not going to. This is especially around Christmas. It's like it is right before Christmas.
This is not going to move the needle.
It's not going to move the needle in the slightest. And in fact, I think it's just going to be forgotten. I think everyone's going to go watch potentially War of the Rohirrim, and then we're just going to not even see this movie. It'll come out on streaming and people will leave their ratings online, or I don't think there's going to be much buzz around this movie at all. It's going to be kind of like it's going to be like the Rebel Moon director's cuts.
I hope people. I mean, I don't think it's going to get nearly the amount of conversation that Madam Web got. Madam Web got a ton of conversation because of how bad it was. Whereas I don't think this one is going to get the same kind of attention unless it's like really, really bad.
Which I did want to bring up something Dakota Johnson actually said, because you brought up, Madam Web, so bad. It got so much attention. It was so bad. We're getting a lot of, she did this extensive interview, right, with the Bustle, whoever they are. And she said something interesting I just wanted to throw out there because it's actually, I think, a pretty good take, right, in view of what happened with Madam Web, right? She said, "My feeling has been for a long time that the audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe they are not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out BS." And also she wasn't surprised by the way it was going to go down, right? As far as the bad reviews. And I think that's actually very respectable, because she's literally saying audiences kind of know what's good. They definitely know what's good. They're very smart. Executives are assuming they're not smart and starting to interject all of this nonsense into these stories, or just writing poor stories for beloved IPs. And it's ultimately disrespectful to the fans who know what they want, who know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah. Which is funny because I've always kind of assumed that she was a little bit of an idiot based on the interviews that I've seen with her, where she really does kind of seem like a ditz. But these comments seem like she at least understands what's going on with the movies. She gets that. It's like, it's the audience. It's the audience. The audience makes or break your movie. You have to sell it to them. Not only do you have to have a really good campaign for your movie, make people want to watch it, but you have to have a good movie that people want to watch. And what I think doesn't get talked about enough isn't a movie's opening weekend. Every once in a while, you get a film like Deadpool and Wolverine, where the ticket sales in the opening weekend is just massive. It's unprecedented. But a lot of films, most films, I would say, thrive off of word of mouth. That's what
Mhm.
sells a movie, because it's not like Top Gun Maverick. I don't think it had a ton of expectation. It didn't have a ton of opening weekend, like huge success the way something like Oppenheimer or Barbie or Deadpool and Wolverine had. But people went and watched it. They enjoyed it. And then they spread it to all of their friends, and everybody else went and saw it. The
Right.
word of mouth, even if you don't have a strong opening weekend, is what keeps your movie going throughout its life in the box office. And that's what ultimately makes it money. So you can have a big opening weekend, but if you don't have anybody talking about it and nobody cares and nobody wants to see it, it's not going to be a success.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about Kraven the Hunter, because we still have a long way before this movie's released. We have quite a few months ahead of us.
Mhm.
I'm sure more content's going to be dripping out here and there, but I want to hear what you actually feel. Do you think that Kraven the Hunter can actually save this villain franchise is my question, right? So let us know. Let us know down there. I'd appreciate it.